Alright, what up YouTube Universe? Welcome to Yesterday. I'm King Raz. On this channel we talk about what happened yesterday. So let's dive right into it, guys. Alright, so look, the top of the moment, the top of the thing to talk about today is, you know what I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. They going bananas, y'all. So we're gonna look at what's going on with them, you know what I mean, check out a couple people, you know what I mean, YouTube channels, see what they got to say about it. You know how we do over here, you know what I mean? Look, everybody live on YouTube kick tonight, you know what I mean? So let's see what we can find out. Alright, he lied. Let's see what the live people talking about first. Let's see. And let's not forget about the commercials. That we always gotta deal with the commercials. It's YouTube. It's YouTube versus regular TV. Yeah, it's way better than regular TV. Oh, check out my man hat right there. Let's take him on mute. Check out his hat though.
I'm staying here, guys. I'm staying here. I'm not leaving anywhere right now. I'm not leaving nowhere. I was watching. I haven't finished watching it because it's like pretty long, the movie. But I was watching Wolf of Wall Street last night. She had me dead. We need more than 900, bro. 900 what? 900 billion? Like I said, we're going to the top, bro. No matter what.
Hey guys, is anybody investing in Dogecoin right now? Do anybody got any
where we go, we're going to the top.
Doge? Let's see what else. Let's see what I was talking about. Doge. He's a pretty good guy too. He been live on a Doge kick for a minute. No, we'll get back to that later. Let's see. No, we'll talk about them later. That's later. Like, I probably should have
right now, my about to give me a boost right now. Yo, so I guess you're not sleeping tonight. Bruh.
Where did he go?
We're here to stay, man. I mean, we gotta keep sharing the news, bro. Keep retweeting everything I got on my thing, everything I got on Twitter right now. You gotta keep on retweeting it. Okay, we gotta keep retweeting it. We gotta keep making it.
Let's go see what's going on with
really help us take this to another level.
This is King Valhalla.
I know me and King were in the process of putting together roles and offering them out to people to fill Pacific roles. Yeah. In this movement, so I know we've just been doing a lot of shit, guys. It's been crazy, and we appreciate everybody that's willing to help join in. Like, this is a team effort, so this is fucking awesome.
You guys are killing it, by the way. Keep it up.
Alright, Daddy Elon just sent out a message through his wallet once. He just had one Doge. And now
Alright, guys, let's see what else we got. They ain't talking about much of nothing over there. So, what we can talk about right now, guys, let's go into some real, you know, life stuff. The cop that was
Have any of you guys checked out UMA today?
Killed at the Capitol, man. They had a little viewing for him today. Hey, you know, I think my son might be gaming, so I might be buffering right now. I'm not even sure if I'm lagging or not. Most likely I'm lagging because I can't even load on Alright, let's get that on one play. Alright, let's see. Let's look at this. Democrats move forward for relief bill. Flag like that on me? Like, what's up with that, bro? Don't do me like that, bro.
Here we have a Capitol Hill watch with Jackie Heinrich. Jackie, so much going on there today. The Senate moving forward on vote relief, but without Republicans.
At least they blowing them up without people with them.
That's right,
President
Biden reportedly forward with his $1.9 trillion proposal not long after sitting down with Senate Republicans to try to hash out a bipartisan bipartisan deal. Their $618 billion proposal was swiftly rejected. Democrats yesterday cleared a procedural hurdle in the Senate to move forward with budget reconciliation. Now, that's a tool that would allow them to pass their bigger bill with just a simple majority. The message to Republicans, you can join us, but don't try to go against us because we've got the majority and we are not backing down.
So this guy's MM Crypto. I think this is MM Crypto. Yeah, he gives very good information when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So make sure you guys check him out. Go to his YouTube page, hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the notification bell. Help him grow his YouTube channel. You know what I mean? The same way you always help me grow mine. I appreciate it. That's good.
Point, and this could even bring you a new trading opportunity for Ethereum. You know, I am in my Ethereum trade. I will talk about my trades here very, and as you can see, if we are getting above the previous rejection point, this would be a breakout confirmation of the rising wedge. And the price target, I already prepared that for you here, is all the way up, and this is what we've been waiting for at the psychological resistance of $1,977 US, close to the $2,000 US levels. This would be exactly the moment where I would be closing my trade here if I were to jump into this breakout trade. I already traded this here, this inverse head and shoulders breakout, and yeah, I am still in this trade. I will show it to you very shortly. Let me quickly go over here into my trades, and wow, this is the jungle and sea view. Very beautiful, and yeah, especially because it's so nice here, I will for sure keep pushing content towards you. I want to show you my trades, of course, as well. Make sure you make noise for this algorithm, because you guys know we are not only the most profitable community in the world, we are the most lovely and the most supportive one. This is what it's about in Bitcoin. We need not only decentralization, we need centralized love here in our community, and this is what you are providing. So thank you so much for that. This is truly what keeps me motivating, pushing these contents on the this content here on a daily basis. So my trades, if I were to go over here, where are my trades? There. This is the first trade over on Phemex. This is just refreshing. So let me go over to contracts and positions. So this is my trade over on Phemex. It is right now $500,000. You see it on the top left corner, $500,000 US in a profit. I took some profits here, and I put, you remember, I put in 2.5 million contracts more at $32,800 US. When we had this amazing Elon Musk confirmation, the most important one is actually the one here over on Bybit. Let me quickly go over to the one on Bybit, and then where I'm going here, I am going over to the contracts, and here to this contract. You can see this one is 270% in a profit right now. Very nice. 2.4 Bitcoin. This is approximately $100,000 US. No, it's approximately $100,000 US. This trade I actually opened just recently. Let me quickly go over back. I just opened recently when Elon Musk was giving his confirmation that he's actually confirming his support for Bitcoin. So also, guys, by the way, in the affiliate section,
guys, look at that.
Comment. This goes on for.
Look at that, guys. Ethereum just hit 1650, guys. 1650. Bitcoin is at $37,500, man. It's going to be a crazy year for crypto, guys. Get yourself a crypto bag and let it grow. That's all I'm going to say.
For like 2 more days, I have the highest bonuses on YouTube for you. $620 US for free. If you click the link down below in the pinned comment, the Bybit link, you put in your email address and your password, you get within like 5 or 10 seconds your own account. Within 20 seconds after your initial deposit, $620 US for free. At a 20x leverage, I made a 25x leverage or so. It's a $15,000 US trade, basically for free. You don't even have to use your own money, and you can withdraw the profits from this free trade from the exchange for free. And this goes on for like, I think 2 more days or so. So make sure you take advantage of that. If you're an experienced trader, in the pinned comment down below, scroll down, click the link right now. My next profit-taking area is actually the next one. Would be very close to
Listen to this, guys. Listen.
Present moment of now, where we are at right now, $37,000 US. The next one is actually $44,000 US. And if you think this is a little bit too insecure, you can take some profits already at the previous all-time high, close to the $42,000 US levels. Congratulations once again for everyone who is in a trade. The next Ethereum trade upcoming very soon, as you can see here with this break above the previous rejection point. For Bitcoin, I am going to update you about the next one You know about my profit-taking areas. You know about the current trades. I don't know how to apply more transparency here, but guys, this is for sure a great time to be alive. Happy for everyone here joining us. Happy for everyone jumping into these trades, making significant profits. If you want me to cover also more altcoins in the future, you know we are in Uniswap, we are in Polkadot, and much more. Leave your favorite altcoins down below, upvote them, and yeah, make sure that you make noise for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will see you very soon at the next one of MM Crypto. No matter from where, I am always here for you. And as always, guys, as always.
Alright guys, that's cool. That's MM Crypto. He always got some good information for us when we go look for it, you know. He's still talking. He just run this tree trap. 1 second, let me come back on cam for a minute. Alright, let's see what we got here going on here. Buy Dogecoin now instead of Bitcoin. Dogecoin future price prediction. Let's see, I already had this set up. So
a couple of weeks ago, my friends and I, we were talking about the lottery. And we were amazed at how big the jackpot is. And we will.
So, I forgot about him. Let's go back and talk about Tuki Boat. No, I was just watching that. Checking next to that video. Let's see what they're talking about in the program.
Bigger, but the monthly disbursement would be
that money?
Much
Look at that money.
All right.
Look at all that. Woo!
Well, Sarah Holder, thank you for
Couple
breaking
blocks
that
of that.
down for us. Scarlett?
All right, let's get you to today's movers and shakers. These are the people impacting the worlds of politics, business, and entertainment. Former European Central Bank President Mario Draghi has accepted a request that could make him the next Prime Minister of Italy. The job's a big one. Draghi would be asked to guide Italy out of its worst recession since the end of World War II. But he's got a decent track record. Draghi was widely praised for his role in helping end Europe's sovereign debt crisis. Speaking of former central bankers, Janet Yellen takes her first public steps to deal with the volatility in GameStop shares and the role of Robinhood. The Treasury Secretary has summoned financial regulators to discuss the recent market swings. Yellen, who is the former head of the Fed, wants to know if recent activities are consistent with investor protection and fair and efficient markets. And two big movers coming out of the Golden Globes nominations, David Fincher and Netflix. Fincher's Mank leads with 6 nominations, while Netflix as a whole got 42 nominations, 22 for films and 20 for TV series, including The Queen's Gambit and The Crown. Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are set to return as hosts during the virtual event on February 28th. Amy will be doing it from LA, and Tina will be doing it from New York, so it's going to be a bi-coastal Golden Globe ceremony. So that opening monologue will be really interesting.
Oh, it will, and who wouldn't love to see these two together again?
Yeah, wait, did y'all see this, man? Hold on, wait.
Hosting. I love the
big body, little Chevrolet. I know young niggas who tryna get paid. Hopping out that candy paint with that.
Hold on, man. This kid done got a diamond put in his forehead. Hold on, wait. I gotta come back on camera for this one. He done got a diamond put in the middle of his forehead. Look at him. Look at him. Hold on, wait. Let me click on it. Wait, hold on. Wow. I'm gonna get a diamond put in the middle of my forehead. Forget it. In fact, I'm gonna get 2 big diamonds put on my cheeks. Hold on, wait. What are you talking? What do you say?
Got a long bar in it because I just got it pierced. It's swelling. When the swelling go down, I get a short bar so it won't move. I keep talking about this off, so I got a long bar in it so it can move because it's swelling. When it go down, it's gonna be right there.
He gotta be the sickest. He gotta be the sickest. Ain't nobody ever done it like that. He put the diamond in his forehead. Y'all look at it. Look at it. How much is it? $24 million pink diamond. 4 years. We all got our goals, you know what I mean? I feel him though, you know what I mean? Ain't who gonna do it like that, man? Ain't nobody walking around with a $24 million diamond on their forehead. He said, I gotta change the game. He said, man, I'm gonna change the game with this one. Watch me. Oh. Is somebody gonna rip that shit off your? Give me that. Yeah.
Vision me. You said we. They're gonna take that diamond.
Wow, yo, he got a whole diamond put it in his head, man. What in the world?
He got a $24 million on his head for real.
I was watching this earlier too.
I was disappointed over the last few weeks. Whether you love him or you hate him, it's hard to deny that Lil Uzi Vert is one of the most unique.
With 4 already or county Republican organizations and others.
We all over the place today, guys. My bad.
Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger, one of the 10, isn't waiting to be targeted. Instead, he's going on offense. He's releasing a video today, kicking off
Listen to this.
what he's calling Country First. His effort to return the party to its traditional conservative principles.
Republicans must say enough is enough. It's time to unplug the outrage machine, reject the politics of personality, and cast aside the conspiracy theories and the rage.
And Congressman Kinzinger joins me now. Congressman, welcome back to Meet the Press. You weren't going to be alone in this segment. You were going to be joined by a couple of other folks who also voted to impeach on the Republican side of the aisle. Explain how hard this is to be as public-facing as you are. You've been taking arrows a little bit longer than the rest, so I think you've got a thicker armor these days. But explain this difficulty that some of your colleagues are in.
Look, it's really difficult. I mean, all of a sudden imagine everybody that supported you, or so it seems that way, your friends, your family, has turned against you. They think you're selling out. I mean, I've gotten a certified letter twice from the same people disowning level. But the reality is this is a time to choose. It's a time to choose what we're going to be in. And my goal in launching countryfirst.com with the number 1 is just to say, look, let's take a look at the last 4 years. How far we have come in a bad way, how backwards looking we are, how much we peddle darkness and division. And that's not the party I ever signed up for, and I think most Republicans didn't sign up for that. So you know what, yes, it's a tough position to be in, but it's really invigorating to remember what you're standing for and to talk about putting the country over party.
This is going to be a lonely effort for a while, I imagine. And there's some folks that are wondering, is the Republican Party that's tied to Donald Trump, can that party survive?
Question. And, I was disappointed over the last few weeks to see what seemed like the Republican Party waking up and then kind of falling asleep again and saying, well, what matters is if we can win in 2 years and we don't want to tick off the base. Look, people are looking for leaders to lead. We haven't led. All we're doing is saying, what does it take to get reelected? It's January of a new term. And I think we have to remind people again that, look,
Commercial.
It's made for him.
Is GME going back to the moon?
Going back to the moon.
We about to find out. Is it going back to the moon? We do not know, but we are willing to find out. Now, ain't we? It's always some past, isn't it? All right, this is me, Kevin. I like me, Kevin.
What's up, everyone? Wall Street
What up,
bets,
Kev?
game stoppers, AMCers, day traders, long traders, people who want to make money. Welcome back. Meet Kevin here. Let's go ahead and track GME, AMC, and all the madness into the close. Folks, I have to say, I want this movement to succeed so badly, and I love that we're seeing some green here. Not a lot, but we're having a green day. This is very, very important. We're going to pull up the sticks here. We've got the closing bell coming up. We're going to hit that as well. But folks, we need more green sticks. more green. Let's make it frickin' happen. And you know, I have to say, I was thinking about this a little bit, and I want to say that this first, okay? Why did Robinhood not do, I don't know if they could, but why didn't they do everything in their power to be leading this movement? They should.
They didn't see it coming, Kev. Even though they should have. You know what I'm saying?
Experience an interruption, find out why. Yeah, I want to find out why. Why am I experiencing an interruption?
Just said, hey, GameStop, you guys are the only stock we're going to allow to get traded right now because we are going to the moon. We are going to make this movement happen. Imagine if they did that. Oh, you want to trade some Microsoft? You can do that next week because it's going to be in the same place. But we are not going to go down as the company that is going to stop the movement. Golly, imagine if they did that. I mean, look, you'd have a lot of people pissed off who want to buy Microsoft. Don't get me wrong, okay? But just imagine switching the position for a moment, how things would have played out. Golly. All right, let's go ahead and look into the sticks. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and take a look what's going on here. So we got, look at these movements here. We've got a Naked brand, 31% today. I mean, what a movement. Yeah, no kidding. Mr. Lee here says that would have been the best PR. No freaking kidding. Robinhood joins Wall Street, bets, day traders, or every trader. I mean, that would have been a money move right there. All right, but anyway, I mean, that's just hypothetical. Had they been at the had they front run this? Anyway, Microvision, 21% today. This is this is going to $10. This is insane. This is a LiDAR play, which hasn't actually produced the product yet, just prototypes, blowing up here. Looking for a suitor because they're trying to partner with the company to be bought out. We got Sundial Growers. Look at this, $1.20. We're about to hit $1.25 on Sundial Growers. I mean, this is the stock that just literally doubled from 50 cents to $1, and now we're at $1.02. Company itself, a lot of motivated people here on this one. AMC 14%, Jivo up 10% again. QuantumScape 10%. Very interesting. Last on Friday, we said, is there a concern that we are going to go back to the SPAC after the potential transition on or a potential movement on GameStop? If the movement were to end on GameStop, are we going to go back to the SPAC? That was a concern. That the money would go out of GameStop and into the SPACs. And folks, look at this. We got SPACs. Microvision. Virgin, I'm pretty sure Virgin even SPAC'd. I'm not sure, I gotta double check on that one. But QuantumScape, big SPAC here, right? Lots of movement in the recovery sector. Look at this huge money. Spirit Airlines up 8.3%. This might be because COVID cases are plummeting, so you're seeing this recovery trade really start heating up. I mean, you got not only cannabis up here up 7%, you got eight clusters up 7%. This is a pretty mature market from what we had at Market Open this morning. Market Open with course members, we did not see this kind of movement this morning. But wow, the recovery play is pushing here. Let's look at GameStop. Let's zoom into the GameStop play right now. We've really got the entire stock market just printing tendies right now is what it feels like. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit on what we got at GameStop going into the close here. So we've got some volatility here, right? So, yesterday was obviously, a day we don't want to revisit. Yesterday was a 59% down on the GME. Yesterday I predicted that we would see front page news on the Wall Street Journal that silver and GameStop plummet. And folks, that is literally what the cover ended up being today. I will get it during this stream, but I'm not going to get it right now. It is the cover, silver and GameStop plummet. I should have had it on my desk before I started streaming, but that would have implied that I would have been prepared. Obviously, my goal is always to be prepared for you, but I did leave that paper outside, so I won't get it. We've got 121 here at look at this pre-market peak that we had right before market open. And I'm telling you, we see this consistently. We watched the opening bell this morning with the course members. And we saw this sell-off happen at the open. Very frustrating to see, really the price go up leading into the open, and then a sell-off right at the open. It is a little bit of a concern. It's a concern that, are we seeing, do we want those to evaporate, or do we stick it to, if these options go to zero, it doesn't matter because we're part of the movement.
Right.
Let's get an options update, by the way, on mine. Let's see here. So I'll pull up my options update while the Bloomberg terminal loads, which is loading right now. We are now about 10-ish minutes away from the close here. Options positions for the position we have at GameStop right here. Right now we are on GME, the March 5th. March 19th of this year, $500 call. We are down 93%. It almost looks like we've had a huge shift in like the implied volatility to where we're the enthusiasm for this going back to $500, at least in the is kind of getting priced out of a possibility. Take a look at this. I mean, this is a painful bag to hold, right? To be 93% down on something. That's pretty painful. Now, I have to say there is a little bit of good news because yesterday we did make some other plays. We made these live. Not only did we make our Tesla plays, which that option is doing very well, but we also we made a couple plays on Google and Amazon. Now, full transparency, I'm always going to show you the losers as well. My $50,000 bet on Amazon yesterday, it's a leap, so I'm not worried about losing money long run on this one. But we're down 11% on the leap for Amazon here, the $4,000 January 20th of 2023 call. We've got one call option here. We're down 11% on that one. That's $5,700 that we're down. But we also put $50,000 into 3 GameStop call options. And folks, this in 24 hours here is up $15,000. We're up 31% on that option. So and when we average out the 2 trades there, we can even include the GameStop trades. We're pretty much break even between GameStop, Google, and Amazon here with some of these trades, which certainly is always a good thing to consider. Is putting aside some diversification money when we're looking at actually trading. So let's go back to the let's see if we can get Bloomberg up here and running. Yep, we've got Bloomberg up. So let's go ahead and see. Let's get the latest that we have on a short sale or short data percentage as a percentage of float. Somebody mentions here they played weed today. Weed started jumping yesterday. We talked about that during the live stream. I've got a pie, actually. If you go to metkevin.com/Biden, you will see what I call the Biden pie. And the Biden pie is a mix. Go to that. You'll see it. It's much easier for you to see by looking at it and play around with it. metkevin.com/Biden. Anyway, you go to that, and you're going to see a mix of different marijuana plays and electric vehicle plays. That pie has done pretty well for us over the last... we instituted that on January 6th, the morning of January 6th, so that we could get in. That was a big opportunity there to jump on some of that. Cannabis has had a very interesting a ride though, pretty interesting up and down. Cannabis has been one of those where we last week we had a big sell-off, and that was possibly because a lot of money was moving into the GameStop and the GME plays. Entirely possible. GameStop and the GME, it's the same thing. GameStop and the AMC plays, they took a lot of money out of the market last week, and people were selling a lot of longs. We had that softness. But what I also want to do while we pull up the sticks here and we go into the close is I also want to, we'll look at the short interest data as well, but I also want to look at trends. So what are our trends doing? How many Wall Street Bet members do we have now? Yesterday when I went to sleep at like 3 a.m. because I was playing roughs with some of y'all, big mistake to stay up that late. But hey, after all, we can now say that this channel went trending on gaming for YouTube, which I consider myself a gamer, but I don't consider myself a great gamer. That's pretty exciting. But that aside, let's look at the members here. Okay, we went to sleep at 8.3 million members over on the Wall Street Bets, folks. We are at 8.4. Now, look, don't get me wrong, this is still great. I've been growing with the Wall Street Bets community since the end of 2017. I can't say that I'm an OG, 2012er. I know many of you have been with Wall Street Bets much longer. Many of you are just now coming upon Wall Street Bets. I've been a Reddit user since 2009, back when Dig was actually a lot more popular than Reddit. Until, of course, Dig screwed their creators and pretty much everybody jumped ship over to Reddit, rightfully so. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we just had 100,000 user growth over about the last 7-8 hours here. That's slow growth. We're around 10K user growth right now. For us to really start seeing this pop off in Wall Street Bet stocks like the GME, we need that user growth, right? That peak media. Let's pull trends really quick because we've had a plummeting in peak media trends for GameStop stock. So let's GameStop stock. Okay, we gotta say this correctly. Let's go to past 30 days here on the Google Trends for GameStop stock. We are continuing a descent here on media search volume. Again, the peak being the 28th. When we were streaming on the 28th, I asked the question, folks, is this peak media? Once you hit peak media, you run into more risks on having a sustained future rally.
All right, guys, make sure y'all, while we got the opportunity to understand what peak media is. So I think he's going to explain it, so listen up.
That's what we want to see at GME. We want to see a sustained future rally.
Wow.
But to sustain a future rally, at the same time, you got scumbags like the suits pushing against us.
Maybe not.
It becomes very difficult to say, if we're not growing, we're going to be able to keep plowing money in. And so we actually refreshed, and we saw during our stream on the 29th, we were able to see this decline, which was a warning shot on Friday. We had a warning shot on Friday. If you go back to my stream on Friday, you'll see the warning shots from Friday that we could see a cooling off of media attention over the weekend. And we did. It'll be interesting to see what we see for, like, if we take in a look in, like, let's do invest in silver, for example. Let's see, that had a weekend pop, but that is, really a weekend balloon, I should say, but has really slowed down into the beginning of this week here. So past 30 days, it looks like we really had peak silver January 31st. We don't have the latest for investment silver as an update from Jan 31. My expectation is that, Monday, Feb 1, that's down. Monday, Feb 2, once the plummet started happening, probably way down. So these peak media movements, very, very important. Even right now, the last 15 minutes here, I've been watching CNBC here, waiting for them to talk about Reddit. Folks, let me ask you this. In all of the live streams you've been in with me recently, how long did I go before switching?
Kev, that's a 44-minute video, Kev. I didn't know that. I thought you only had a 10-minute video, Kev. But we can't listen to all that, man. They gonna think I'm recording you, playing this stream on my screen, Kev. Hold on, wait a minute. All right, guys, let's go listen to what BitBoy Crypto guy say about the Raoul Paul in Ethereum.
If I look at the chart of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, it looks like it's basing. Ethereum has a decent chance of getting to 20,000. I mean, holy, that's a value proposition. Even with Bitcoin going to 200,000 to 300,000, one's at 8x, one's 16x from here.
Wow.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap gets you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.io. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money in crypto, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're a big fan of Ethereum, make sure to smash the like button so YouTube knows to show Ethereum videos to more people. I think we can actually get 25,000 likes on this video. Help us get there. In this video, we're going to be breaking down comments by one of the smartest investors in the world, Raoul Pal. He was recently on Cambridge House's YouTube channel for an interview from their CEO, Jay Martin. You can find the full video down below. Make sure to watch this one first. But one thing is for sure, Raoul likes Bitcoin, but he loves Ethereum. Sounds like I've heard somebody else say that before. Then at the end of this video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the projects we're partnered with, DexKit. They're the architects behind bitswapdex.io, so you're definitely going to want to stay tuned all the way until the end of this video. Raoul Pal is one of the savviest investors around. He's also the founder of Real Vision, a financial channel helping investors across many different asset classes. But lately, Raoul has been loading up on an emerging asset class.
Okay, so at what point then should, I guess, not at what point, but should people start considering moving to cash, Raoul? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't have any equity positions. I'm basically all crypto.
That's right, folks. And keep this in mind. Raoul was one of the only voices warning people of a financial crisis in 2008. Everyone back then thought the market was killing it, but they were about to get killed themselves. But meanwhile, there were some major red flags going up indicating a large bubble was coming at that time. Of course, no one listened. And now, with the recent pandemic, Powell believes the same thing is about to happen again. He calls it a three-phase cycle in which ultimately the U.S. economy will become insolvent.
Alright guys, make sure you guys go over and check out BitBoy Crypto, guys. He got a lot of good information for you. Got a lot of good affiliate links for you to sign up for some stuff, help them out, you know. So go there and support BitBoy Crypto. You know how we do over here out yesterday. We like to support everybody. You know what I mean? If we watch you, we want to support you. You know, I'm already subscribed, so see, notification bell is on this way. See, I'm already subscribed. You can subscribe to, notification bell is on. You did? Alright guys, what's up next? Maybe let's see what he got. Let's
Mostly because he believes another lockdown is looming in both the United States and Europe. Scary stuff for the economic risk alone. But the stock market is continuing to climb, and more people than ever jumping in thanks to the Wall Street Fed war on the stock exchange. But Powell believes there is something going on that most people can't see.
You could end up with this, Wile E. Coyote moment where everybody's looking that way and the economy's about to go that way.
I honestly got the chills when he said that, because this interview was filmed before the rush of dumb money into the market for stocks. Now, everyone I know thinks they are the wolf of Wall Street. We've been warning people on this channel the last few days about how there could be something bigger going on under the surface we can't see, and Powell believes what's really going on could be exposed soon, market pop. I find myself agreeing a lot with things Raoul says. Now, we spoke on our live stream last week about how important the monthly close was for Bitcoin. After reaching a peak of 42K, we found ourselves in the midst of a 30% correction. I told you that 25 to 40% pullback was normal, but it was important we didn't drop all the way back down to 21K or so, because 50% corrections aren't really that normal in bull markets for Bitcoin. Thankfully, we stayed within that range. Now, in this interview, Powell echoes that exact sentiment.
But compared to prior cycles, it should go a lot further. But all prior cycles have multiple 40%, 30% corrections.
But, as we know, the dip was harsh. A lot of people rushed into the market with FOMO after Bitcoin hit 40K. 30% drop meant a lot of people got wrecked. Mostly new retail investors, of course, and I hope they held through the dip. But Powell's strategy is to never panic. In fact, he thinks there is only one way to optimize your portfolio during these drastic corrections. Buy the dip.
If I get any more cash, I will just buy a dip. And I'll be tilting it more towards Ethereum than Bitcoin. I'm currently 80-20.
Yeah.
Add to Ethereum, I'll perform this cycle.
Whoa, did he say what I just think he said? Not only is he buying these Bitcoin dips, he's actually focused more on Ethereum than Bitcoin. Someone's been watching the channel. We've been preaching this for the last year. I think Powell went through the same stages of crypto addiction most of the Bit Squad probably has gone through. You hear about crypto for the first time, you get super excited about Bitcoin. It makes sense. You discover its properties and what makes it great. Then you hear about Ethereum. Eventually you start comparing charts, potential, and fundamentals. You realize that the true gem in crypto is not the first mover, it's the second one right now. So just how bullish is Raoul on Ethereum? Well, let's hear it directly from him.
You briefly mentioned there you're looking at Ethereum. You were weighted 80-20 BTC to Ethereum, and are you expecting that to change in 2021?
Yeah, I'm hoping to add to Ethereum soon, and I will probably continue to add to that, because if I look at the chart of Ethereum versus Bitcoin, it looks like it's facing. Usually, Ethereum is also very much following the 2017 Bitcoin cycle, both in price, in number of wallet addresses, in market cap. I mean, it's identical. It's kind of spooky, which tells you this is being driven by Metcalfe's law and adoption effects than almost anything else. So if that's the case, then we know Ethereum has a decent chance of getting to 20,000, considering right now it's at 11,800. 1,180.
Yeah.
I mean, holy, that's a value proposition. Even with Bitcoin going to 200,000 to 300,000, one's 8x, one's 16x from here.
Now, to be clear, he was saying a 16x from the price when it was around $1,200. That would put it around 19,200, which he believes is the floor of its potential. You guys who keep saying I'm crazy if we're talking about a $27,000 Ethereum are gonna learn. Not that outlandish. I stand by that prediction 100%. When I hear people like Raul Powell chime in with a 20K prediction, it just gives me that much more confidence. So let me know what your thoughts on Ethereum are by dropping a comment down below. So let's actually switch gears here from a pal to a partner with DexKit.
So
this
if they
project
saying
is an all-in-one
Ethereum might hit
DeFi
20K
platform
by
that is
the end of
making
the year,
swapping and managing
how many
cryptocurrency
Ethereum we
easier
need
than ever.
in order to
This
hit
is
20,
possible through
100,000?
DexKit's powerful
We need
aggregator technology that pulls
10
information from over
plus
14
the
DEX
taxes.
protocols to give
No, we need
users
5.
all the information they need to
2
make
plus 8,
profitable
10.
trades.
We need
These
5,
aggregators have gotten a big performance
6,
boost with more accurate gas
7,
estimates, fees for
8.
trading
We need
bid
8
on
Ethereum.
BitSwap and Kit on
We need the other
DSwap.
3 to
And
pay
a
the
fiat
taxes.
on-ramp where users can
You
load
got
their
me?
DEX wallet direct with Debit Plus. Talk about this even more in a future video. The aggregator is just
The
lead
goal
DeFi
is to
tools
get
kit.
8
The team
Ethereum.
has just
Right
released
now,
a demo
each
version of the
Ethereum is
advanced DEX
$1,600.
exchange and the DeFi dashboard. The exchange
So we
utilizes
gotta
the
make other
aggregator for
moves
all market buys and sells.
in the
But
market
here's
to
the
get
kicker.
up.
You can also place cross-protocol orders on the platform, including limit, stop, and leverage. Limit orders can be placed for free because the taker pays the gas for the transaction. This means that when the price for your order is reached, a wallet-to-wallet swap is performed through the cross-protocol order book. This is a highly efficient and cost-effective way to manage risk while trading on the DEX platform. You can kind of think of DEX
Alright
like
guys, let's
Batman
look
using
at
his gadgets to
something
stop
else,
evildoers and
man.
save your Eve.
What else we gonna look
Does that
at?
make me Robin? Absolutely not.
He's still
Holy
talking.
blockchain, Batman. The exchange also features graphs, charts, and order history from all major DEXs. Users can bookmark their favorite protocols or pull information
What was the
from
press
multiple protocols
conference?
at once. Advanced users can also deploy bots that can profit from arbitrage. This is a way of making quick trades to profit from price discrepancies on the same token. ETH bots, roll out! The latest app demo that was revealed is the DeFi dashboard. This tool is a one-stop shop for portfolio management and analytics. The dashboard features a multi-currency wallet with cross-chain support, including BTC, ETH, and DOT, protocols, tokens, and pair explorers, and unique DeFi tools.
Package must address the crises facing working families, including housing and food insecurity and reopening.
You know how they had a corporation and stuff?
Schools. President Biden said the cost of inaction and doing too little is greater than the cost of doing too much. The president also had the opportunity to meet in the Oval Office just a few minutes ago with Leader Schumer and the Democratic chairs of the Senate committees with jurisdiction over the American Rescue Plan as part of his ongoing engagement with lawmakers from both sides of the aisle. During the meeting, they had a productive conversation on the status of legislative proceedings on the package, They were in agreement over the need to move swiftly to ensure that we get $1,400 direct payments to middle and working class Americans as quickly as possible, that we need to take steps to get immediate relief to the Americans who are struggling with food insecurity or facing eviction, and that we need to provide more resources to get shots into arms.
Alright, so
I'll start.
Oh,
Oh, do you want to go first?
no, I don't. You go.
I was just going to get on slide 7.
Faster. The President and the Senators were also in agreement over the need to go big and to meet the challenges we face with a response that will get the job done in beating this virus and in protecting our economy from long-term damage. During the conversation, the President and Democratic leaders also agreed to continue working to find areas of bipartisan agreement in an effort to integrate ideas and make the process as bipartisan as possible. There have been lots of questions from some of you and others about the differences between the President's plan, the Democratic plan, and the plan that has been proposed by 10 Republican senators. So I wanted to outline some of those specifics here for you. The President's plan would fulfill his pledge to finish getting $2,000 checks to hard-hit Americans and ensure that, for example, a kindergarten teacher making $60,000 a year isn't left without additional support. Their plan wouldn't provide that teacher with direct relief. The President's plan would give Americans who are out of work through no fault of their own a $400 weekly supplement and the certainty that it would last through the worst of the pandemic. Their plan would give unemployed Americans less money and therefore less certainty. The President's plan would keep hundreds of thousands of teachers, cops, firefighters, paramedics, and other public servants on the job. Their plan offers no money to state and local governments to keep people on the front lines of this fight employed. The President's plan would also assist the millions of families who are behind on their rent and facing potential eviction. Their plan wouldn't offer any support to these families. The President's plan would provide targeted, immediate relief to families with children and essential workers through an emergency expansion of the child tax credit and the EITC. Their plan would deny relief to 15 million lower-income essential workers. The President's plan together would reduce the number of kids living in poverty by 5 million this year and cut child poverty in half. Their plan would likely leave millions of additional kids out. Just as importantly, the President's plan would make sure we have every resource we need to defeat this virus and get life back to normal, including $130 billion to help ensure our kids can go back to school safely, $20 billion to mount a nationwide vaccination campaign, $50 billion for more and better testing and critical funding to improve our ability to track and defeat emerging COVID-19 strains. I know that was a lot, but it's a lot of interest in this issue. Go ahead, Josh.
Thanks so much, Jen. 2 questions. President Biden told House Democrats today that he considered the $1,400 direct payment a promise that he can't break. At the same time, a new analysis from the Penn Wharton budget model suggests that 73% of those payments would go into savings instead of be spent in ways that could boost growth. I'm wondering, what's more important, to keep the promise or to ensure that the package does all it can to maximize growth?
$68 trillion. That is how much money is up for grabs in the next 12 months.
That's how much money being in the
Well,
stock market.
first, on the Penn Warren analysis, we've seen that analysis, and I've talked to our economic team about it, and frankly, we feel it's way out of step with the majority of studies on this plan, including independent analysis from the Wall Street firm Moody's, JP Morgan Chase, and the Brookings Institution. And the analysis concludes that our economy is near capacity, which would be news to the millions of Americans who are out of work or facing reduced hours and reduced paychecks. So this starting place means their model is way off. So our view is we're going to listen to governors, we're going to listen to a broad range of economists, we're going to listen to health experts on what is needed, what the American people need at this point in time. And when 1 in 7 American families don't have enough food to eat, it's clear that there is a great deal of need for assistance.
Secondly, the President is set to speak to the State Department tomorrow. How does he expect to change the tone with regard to refugees, China, and Russia relative to his predecessor?
Well, first I would say the President's visit tomorrow, which we rescheduled because of snow, is largely focused on his desire to thank the men and women who are Foreign Service officers, civil servants, who are the heart and soul of that institution and, frankly, our government. And I worked there for 2.5 years. It's an incredible place, and many of them have had a challenging couple of years. But he will also, of course, talk broadly about foreign policy. How could he not if he is there? This will not be a lay down of his vision for every issue and every foreign policy issue. He will have plenty of time to do that. So I just want to kind of expectation set on what to expect for tomorrow. But you were also asking about the difference between his approach on Russia and China. I think on Russia, his call to President Putin is a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, is clear evidence of exactly that. When he called President Putin, he did not hold back. He made clear that while there are areas where we can work together, say New START, which is in the interest of the security of the United States, he has concerns about a number of areas of their reported interference, whether it's in elections, in the hacking of the United States, the SolarWinds hacking, I should say, reports of bounties on American troops. There's an ongoing review that's happening, which he also stated in that conversation. So his engagement, even directly with President Putin, tells you a bit about the difference alone. And on China, the president's view and the administration's view is that we need to work with our allies, we need to work with our partners to align on how we're going to approach our relationship with China, and we need to approach that relationship from a position of strength. There are obviously key components of that relationship. They're economic, they're strategic, but we're going to work closely with our allies. He's having those engagements now. We've done a lot of call readouts, of course, and also with partners on the Hill, Democrats and Republicans, on the best path forward. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. The Republican plan matches you guys up on the national vaccine top line and also the testing top line. But you tipped through some pretty significant differences between the two proposals. I know we ask this seemingly daily at this point, but where is
it's your job.
Where is the space?
As we lead up to the Super Bowl, we got better and better at contact tracing. And that really became a key element. When we have a player positive, we get it early because we're testing every day. There isn't a guidebook for trying to figure out what to do next. What we try to do is set our principles and then follow those. Should a club be affected, positive case, how do we keep that from spreading? The distancing, the masking, the testing, the tracing will continue through to the Super Bowl to ensure the safety of all the participants.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, is a smarter or more powerful strategy than the win both ways trade. And when I say smarter, what I mean is this. Most regular investors play guessing games on which stocks will go up. You will not.
For bipartisan agreement, when the differences are that significant across major components of what the president wants?
Well, an area where there's agreement to work together on is funding for small business. And that's something, of course, Democrats and Republicans want to do. Our view is that this bill itself is bipartisan. 74% of the public support it. Republicans and Democrats, independents across the country. And there is agreement that it's important to work with many Republicans and Democrats who fall on different parts of the political spectrum to put their ideas forward and consider them. And that's part of the conversation and part of the process now happening on the Hill. We will see. What proposals that improve the bill, that make it better, and there's certainly an openness to that.
Several Republican senators have said publicly that they believe the president is in a different place than his staff on this issue in particular. And he's more willing to deal, perhaps, than his staff. Is there daylight between the president and his staff on the $1.9 trillion report?
Absolutely not. I've seen some of those reports. Many of them are ludicrous. I've sat in a lot of meetings with the president of the United States in the last few weeks, and even before then. There is no one who's going to tell him what to do or hold him back from his commitment to delivering relief to the American people. And I would point you to the fact that he talked about the importance of going big on a package back to the campaign. He talked about the importance of meeting this moment back to the campaign. So So that is certainly his commitment, and that's exactly what he's working to deliver on.
And just one quick one on vaccines, circling back to something you guys talked about last week, I believe, Defense Production Act. I know you said all options are on the table, you guys are working through, and that it has been launched in at least a couple of areas. On vaccine supply, is the Defense Production Act being utilized on that front? And if not, is there a timeline? Is it something that remains on the table right now to bolster one of the issues that you guys have identified as the biggest problem right now?
Absolutely, it's on the table. And, the reason the president invoked the Defense Production Act was because he wanted to have a range of options for any moment where there was a reduction in supply on materials, on PPE, on syringes, and at the appropriate time, we can certainly use it for that. But right now, our focus is on working with Pfizer and Moderna. We have confidence in their ability to produce the number of vaccines that the government has ordered on the timeline that we have committed to. And that means that we would have enough vaccines here to be able to vaccinate every American by the summer. So our focus is really more on evaluating where there are needs for supplies and materials that would help deliver the vaccines into the arms of Americans.
There's a huge government scandal going on that I need your help with. I'm also going to share a loophole that I discovered into the government's billion-dollar slush fund that will pay you handsomely for your help. Here's what's going on and how you can help. Every day, the government forecloses on 3,000 or more property owners because they've fallen behind on their property taxes. This amounts to roughly $14 million in tax sale foreclosures every single day. Let me give you an example. Let's say that someone didn't pay their taxes for 3 years, which amounts to roughly $22,000 in back taxes and penalties on a $200,000 property. The property goes to auction. An investor steals it for $100,000. With me so far? The government uses $22,000 to pay off the taxes due, leaving in excess of $78,000. That led me to ask one simple question that launched me into a new adventure and made me, and a few people I've shared this with, millions of dollars over the years. So what happens to all that extra money? The answer to that question might make your blood boil, but it also presents an amazing opportunity for you to do a lot of good while doing really well for yourself. You want to know what happens to that extra money? The government is hoarding it, but it doesn't belong to them. And I've discovered a loophole into the government's billion-dollar slush fund where you can get paid really well recovering these funds for the former property owner.
No, go figure it out, guys. Somebody make some money.
You saw the president say earlier he's still confident he can get some Republican support. Mitt Romney was asked about that a little while ago, and he said, well, if they're not going to budget out the $1.9 trillion number, it's not going to happen. He was then asked, well, can you give us a specific example of something that demonstrates the difference? You didn't mention it. He says the $360 billion or so for states and localities. Is that something that is considered negotiable by the White House?
Well, I'd be interested because I didn't see, so now I guess I'm asking you a question. What Senator Romney said about whether they would propose any funding for state and local.
He said the most recent reports show that the average state in America only lasts about 10 to 1% of the revenue, so it should perhaps be adjusted.
Well, they are not proposing any. So I would suggest, given that they also supported 160 or 180 billion in a package that moved forward under the Trump administration, that's a place where we would certainly welcome an offer from their end on what state and local funding they'd support.
One other on economic relief related to the pandemic. There was a full-page ad in the New York Times last week, put there by several prominent women, calling on the Biden administration to implement what they call a Marshall Plan for moms in the first 100 days. Has the president seen the ad, and would he support the idea of monthly payments to mothers who are saddled by this pandemic?
Well, as a mom myself, I can confirm for you that the conversation I have most frequently with friends on Zoom calls is about the impact of the pandemic on working moms across the country. And what the president has certainly concerned about, as we all are, is the fact that this has a disproportionate impact on communities of color, on women of color who are working, many of them working on jobs as frontline workers and playing vital roles in industries across the country. And it's certainly an issue that Secretary Yellen, his economic team, are focused on and will be looking for ways to help appease.
The president said yesterday he hadn't yet had a chance to contact the families of the FBI agents killed in South Florida. Has he been able to do that yet?
We will follow up with you after the briefing. I did not have a chance to ask about that before I came out here today.
And then earlier today, Canada designated the Proud Boys as a terrorist organization, putting them alongside Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Al-Shabaab. Does the U.S. plan to do the same?
I had seen that, Ed, before we came out here, and I've asked certainly our team to make sure we had a little bit of guidance on that for all of you. We, of course, have a review underway, a domestic violent extremism, I should say, review that's underway by our national security team to take a look at violence and this type of concerning group activity across the country. I expect we will wait for that review to conclude before we make any determinations. It's an ongoing review, and when it's concluded, I'm sure we'll have more to say about our view. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. The top Republican on the House Armed Services Committee is asking you to apologize for some of the comments that you made yesterday in the briefing room about the Space Force. Will you apologize?
Please say no, lady. Say no.
I was just going to...
I did send a tweet last night. You may not all be on Twitter. Maybe they're not on Twitter. That said, we invite the members of Space Force here to provide an update to all of you on all of the important work they're doing, and we certainly look forward to seeing continued updates from their team.
Big picture here, I mean, does the Space Force have the full support of the Biden administration, or is the president at some point perhaps going to try to get rid of it or in some way diminish it?
They absolutely have the full support of the Biden administration, and we are not revisiting the decision to establish the Space Force. The desire for the Department of Defense to focus greater attention and resources on the growing security challenges in space has long been a bipartisan issue, informed by numerous independent commissions and studies conducted across multiple administrations, and thousands of men and women proudly serve in the Space Force. As you know, it was established by Congress, and any other steps would actually have to be taken by Congress, not by the administration.
One more space question. NASA's Artemis program, which was the Trump-era program to return American astronauts to the moon by 2024, what is the president's plan? What is he going to do with that program? Is he going to keep it intact?
I am personally interested in space. I think it's a fascinating area of study, but I have not spoken with our team about this particular program, so let me see if we can get you a more informed overview of that.
One more question, if I could. Sorry about the president's comments last night as he was paying his respects to the FBI agents that lost their lives or were injured. He said, by and large, the vast majority of these men and women are decent, honorable people. What did he mean by that, the vast majority part?
That's exactly what he meant. Go ahead, Kristen.
Jen, President Biden has been very clear that one of his core promises to the American people is to try to unify this country. How can he take steps to unify the country while the impeachment trial is going on next week?
Well, he can focus his efforts, which is exactly what he's doing, on delivering necessary relief to the American public and using his forum to talk about how he's going to reopen schools, how he's going to get shots in the arms of Americans, how he's going to ensure that the 1 in 7 American families who are concerned they can't put food on the table can do exactly that. That's how he's spending his time as we started this briefing, and how he will continue. To spend it moving forward.
I heard it. There's a whole bunch of people going on. Probably a party or something.
Undercuts any efforts that you needed.
He invites Republicans to work with him on bringing relief to the American public, and that's why he invited them here, many of them here on Monday, and why he will continue to engage with them moving forward.
Talk about his agenda. President Biden has been signing executive orders, speaking to the American people almost on a daily basis. Obviously, the focus is going to shift to the Senate next week. How concerned is he that the Senate trial will undercut his momentum?
I think the president has been clear. There's an urgency to delivering relief to the American people, and it's important and vital that the House and Senate work quickly to get this bill passed. I'm not giving a deadline. I'm just conveying what he has stated many times publicly, and we are confident they have the ability to walk and chew gum at the same time.
One more question. There's discussion on the Hill about stripping Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments. Does President Biden believe that she should?
Now more than ever.
No. I don't know. I mean, like, wait, is that the QAnon lady? I don't even really know what QAnon. I don't even really know what they stand for.
Conspiracy theory. A bunch of people think she thinks that the wildfires happened from some lasers in space. And Democrats.
And you never know, could be.
Exactly. And that's why.
Look, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. I just now watched the video.
But you gotta have.
But you gotta think about it though. Like sometimes there's truth to stuff like that though. I just now watched the U.S. military show they got the laser beam that the electricity they shooting stuff from 10 miles away with the laser beam. You want me to pull it up and show it to you? Yeah. All right, I will. Let me let them know tab because I want to see. That's good. Very good.
What is going on with them beeping, guys? So I got Facebook Messenger. Tweets.
I want to play. Don't play them. Look. That's a laser beam. There ain't no bullet. Laser beam.
Operationally, it works just like a laser pointer. There's a chamber inside with special materials that release photons.
If you're looking at a boat coming in over the water, you can target exactly the engine and take out exactly the engine and not necessarily damage anything else. So, and that type of precision weapon work is something that you don't really get with conventional weapons because there tends to be more collateral damage.
It's useful against a variety of threats, surface or air. It's not a niche weapon system like some other weapons that we have, throughout the military, where it's only good against air contacts or it's only good against surface targets.
They could be shooting laser beams from down out of the sky. You know what I mean? Could be the aliens that the Space Force is checking us from. I don't know why I'm going there.
We've resisted speaking of her in this briefing room, and I'm not going to do that today. Because it's up to the Hill to make that determination.
Speaking of what? What they say?
Work quickly to get this bill passed.
Wrapped up within the week when you say
I'm not giving a deadline. I'm just conveying what he has stated many times publicly, and we are confident they have the ability to walk and chew gum at the same time.
One more question. There's discussion on the Hill about stripping Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments. Does President Biden believe that she should be stripped of those assignments?
We've resisted speaking of her in this briefing room, and I'm not going to do that today.
On her assignments, though, Jeff?
Because it's up to the Hill to make that determination. Go ahead.
Thank you, Nandita with Reuters. President Biden has always expressed support for unions and, in fact, has distributed a plan to kind of strengthen worker organizing around the country. There are thousands of workers at an Amazon facility in Alabama that are currently gearing up to cast a vote and potentially form a union inside the company. This will be the first of its kind inside Amazon. Does the White House and President Biden support their efforts to organize and form a union?
As you've noted, the president is a strong, longtime believer and supporter of the efforts of labor unions and workers. I have not spoken with him or our economic team about this particular report, nor had I seen it before I came out here. If there's anything more to provide you, we're happy to follow up with you directly.
And I did have another question on Secretary Yellen calling for a meeting with top financial regulators on GameStop. And we understand the meeting is likely to happen this week. Will the meeting be held on Thursday? And will the focus really be on whether Robinhood treated retail investors unfairly over large institutional investors?
Well, I would send you to the Treasury Department for any specifics on the timing of the meeting or the focus of the meeting. For any of you who have not seen this report, Secretary Yellen has called a meeting with the SEC, FRB, FRBNY, and CFTC. She believes the integrity of markets is important and has asked for a discussion of recent volatility in financial markets and whether recent activities are consistent with investor protection and fair and efficient markets. That will be the focus of the meeting, but for more details, I would certainly send you to the Treasury team.
Go ahead, Jennifer. Any update on the release of the White House visitor logs? Either were you able to figure out if you can technically access the Trump administration visitor logs?
I was. We cannot. That is under the purview of the National Archives, so I'd certainly point you to there. And in terms of our plans to release the visitor logs, we do plan to do that on a quarterly basis, just as the Obama-Biden administration did as well.
And then one other thing also on unions, Mitch McConnell was critical today of giving generous funding to school districts where the unions are not allowing the schools to open. Do you have any reaction to that?
What's up, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader, here with $10,000. A lot of you think you need $10,000 to get started in the stock market. That's nonsense!
I would say that the purpose of giving funding or supporting funding and getting it to school districts is to ensure that teachers are safe, that kids are safe, that there is necessary PPE, that there is ventilation in the school, that there is the environment that allows for children to return safely. And that is the president's focus. That's why he also wants to reopen schools and wants them not to just reopen, but wants them to stay open, which as a mom, that is pivotal. But he knows it's essential that it's done in a safe way.
You have the unions not allowing some school districts to reopen?
There's discussions in different districts, as you well know, between school districts and elected officials and the unions, and we certainly hope and encourage progress on that front. But the president's focus is on the schools reopening safely and them staying open. Go ahead, Sonia.
I have a couple questions, thanks, Jen. So during the Georgia runoffs, President Biden campaigned specifically on $2,000 stimulus checks. And obviously, as we've discussed, the payment is $1,400. There doesn't seem to be an active discussion and actually raising that amount. So is that a broken promise to voters who may have been expecting $2,000 checks if Democrats won? And would the administration be open to raising that amount?
Well, you're right that the president is very focused on ensuring millions of Americans receive those checks and that pivotal relief at this point in time. There was $600 payments, as you know, in the $900 billion package that passed in December. This is $1,400. Together, that's $2,000. So it would be delivering on the promise he made, and it's something that he is firmly sticking by.
Another question on immigration. The Biden administration has extended temporary protected status for Syrian nationals. Obviously, the Trump administration cut off TPS protections for many other countries, such as El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Haiti. So does the administration plan to reinstate those TPS protections for those countries?
It is all under review at this point in time, and obviously the president has talked about his own commitment to reinstating TPS in certain cases, but it has not. The review has not been complete at this point in time.
But thanks, Jen. Earlier today on the call with House Democrats, the president talked about better targeting the stimulus checks. I'm wondering if you could just explain what he meant by that and what might.
Whether you're working from your new home office or on the front lines of our community, you know the struggle of balancing your job and your well-being. Children's book author Christine Platt felt this pressure even before the pandemic. So I met with her to share some easy meal solutions that work for her schedule. I think you'll find them helpful too. This is On Your Plate.
When I find something I like, I stay with it. I've trusted Clear Eyes for years. Why? Because my eyes deserve to look and feel phenomenal. Clear Eyes gets them this bright, this white, this comfortable. Yeah, sure, you could spend a whole bunch more for those other drops in the teeny tiny bottle. But when Clear Eyes makes eyes look like this, why would you? Clear Eyes. Your eyes deserve the best. Sure. Well, as we've said in here a few times, but I know this is an ongoing process. You know, the president, having served in the Senate for 36 years, fully recognizes that the bill he proposed, that he did a primetime address on 2 weeks ago, that may not look exactly like the bill that comes out, and he knows that. That's part of the legislative process. So further targeting means not the size of the check. It means the income level of people who receive the check, and that's something that has been under discussion. There has been a conclusion, but certainly he's open to having that discussion.
And I also wanted to ask, in the previous administration, often when coronavirus cases came up in the White House, people tested positive. It came out in the news media. I was wondering if this White House has a policy on releasing information about people who test positive in the White House or in the administration who have contact with White House officials.
Sure. Well, if for anybody who covered the campaign, and I was not on the campaign, but what they tried to do was be very transparent about anyone who had any contact with, would have been in close proximity to the president or vice president, and release if they had a COVID positive test. And so we will certainly model that transparency if and when that occurs here, and venture to provide accurate and up-to-date information as quickly as possible to all of you. Not through the media, but directly. I mean, you are the media, but you know what I mean. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks, Jen. I have one question and then one from a colleague who can't be here due to social distancing. The CDC director is saying that the vaccination of teachers is not a prerequisite for safe reopening of schools. Does the White House agree with this? And should states be prioritizing teachers over other essential workers in the vaccine line?
Well, I saw the comments of Dr. Walensky, but I will say that even she would say, if she were standing here, she's welcome to come anytime, but she's in Atlanta, that they have not released their official guidance yet from the CDC on the vaccination of teachers and what would be needed to ensure the safe reopening of schools. And so we'd certainly defer to that, which we hope to see soon. The president himself has talked about the importance and the priority of vaccinating teachers, and in most states they're in the 1B category of vaccination. But it is up to states to determine prioritization. Obviously, there's federal guidelines, and we work closely with governors, but we leave it to them. But certainly, ensuring teachers are vaccinated, prioritizing teachers is important to the president.
57, 58, 59, 60. That's 4 minutes.
I could do 5.
Okay, sweetie, I really have to get ready for my meeting.
Switch to progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
They brought in new perspectives, they brought in new code, they took the ROS code and they brought it to their labs, and then next thing you know, everyone was using ROS on the robots, and it was largely because they came to Willow, and then they went back and they started ROSifying everything.
And this is from a colleague. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, following the 2020 election, 28 states have brought forward 106 different bills related to voting access, according to the Brennan Center for Justice. Is President Biden keeping track of those efforts, and will he talk with states to ensure Americans aren't restricted from voting in future elections?
Well, the president's priority is certainly ensuring, and the vice president's priority is certainly ensuring more people, not fewer people, have access to voting, and that it is easier, not harder, to do that. We saw some examples of voting by mail or early voting given COVID that could be models for the future. It's certainly an issue he's following, and his team keeps him abreast on. I don't think there's been an update since he was inaugurated to him, but it's certainly an issue he cares personally about, as does the vice president.
Go ahead, Pat. Yeah. Good afternoon. Owen Jensen with EWTN Global Catholic Network. President Biden has stated he wants to unite the country. In the first 2 weeks he's been in office, however, and much to the great disappointment of pro-life Americans, he has revoked the Mexico City policy. He has ordered a review of Title 10 and issued a statement strongly supporting Roe v. Wade. Is the president going to make any effort to reach out to pro-life Americans in his administration?
Well, those have long been the president's positions, and he certainly was just restating them and delivering on promises he made on the campaign trail. But the president will reach out to all Americans, and that is how he's going to govern, what he talked about in his inaugural address, and he has every intention of delivering on that promise.
Follow up on that. Will he, you described him as a devout Catholic, will he use his faith to guide him in any policy decision making?
He does attend church nearly every weekend. That's something that's important to him personally and to his family. And he's talked about the impact of his faith on healing and everything he's been through as a human being. So certainly it's a guide to him as a human being. Go ahead.
Thanks. Earlier you mentioned a number of topics that President Biden and Putin had discussed. One that you didn't mention is the two Marines who are imprisoned, Trevor Reed and Paul Whelan. Trevor Reed from Texas had an appeal today in Moscow. The U.S. ambassador called his conviction a mockery of justice. What is the U.S. doing to secure their release, and do you consider these two Marines to be hostages?
Well, Ambassador Sullivan, who I think you were referring to, today called Trevor Reed's trial a mockery of justice, and we certainly agree. And as you know, we have a range of means of communications with the Russians at several levels. We have a Secretary of State who's now confirmed. We have a National Security Advisor, and we have a number of officials in the State Department. But I'll use this as an opportunity to once again call on Russia to swiftly release both Mr. Reed and Paul Whelan. And doing so on the heels of extending New START would demonstrate that Russia is ready to move past intractable issues within the bilateral, lots of bipartisan talk in here today, bilateral relationship. But that's our view, and we certainly raise this at every opportunity.
Sanctions or any other consequences under consideration?
Well, there's also a review we've announced here, of course, and I talked about a little bit at the beginning of our relationship, and certainly a number of issues that are being looked into by the National Security Team. And once that review is concluded, we'll have more to say on our policy moving forward.
Does the administration consider them to be hostages?
I don't think I'm going to add a new category or categorization from here today. Go ahead.
Jen, I want to follow up on ventilation in the schools in terms of reopening them safely. How exactly does the White House see that playing out? Is the president saying that no school should be reopened unless they get a brand new or renovated ventilation system?
I think the president is saying that, and the CDC, I should say more importantly, and our health and medical experts are saying that ventilation and proper ventilation in schools, and especially schools, public schools that don't have often the benefit of tuition and things along those lines, need to have proper ventilation. We've seen from health and medical experts that is something that contributes to ensuring the safety of people indoors, which is part of what school is. So they're just conveying that that's an important component of looking at school safety and how we can reopen schools.
Not a prerequisite, though.
Well, there haven't been prerequisites set. There have been broad objectives that have been set by the CDC and others. They have also not put out their specific detailed guidelines yet, and we'll look forward to seeing those and abiding by them and communicating about them from here. Go ahead, Jeff.
The president has said he really wants to protect the middle class. And I'm wondering, when it comes to things like direct payments, what's the income range by which you define the middle class? Like, how much does someone who's middle class, how much do they earn? What's the range?
Well, there are ranges in the bill, as you know, that are what the president proposed and what he outlined during his primetime address. I don't know that he looked at the bill as his own personal definition of the middle class as much as a definition of the people who need help the most.
That bill is the rough range and how you're thinking about it?
I think I just said it's not the definition. He wasn't looking to answer the question for economists around the world on how to define the middle class. He was defining who needs help the most now, and that's how the bill is defined and why he's so focused on ensuring those checks get out to the American people.
But two quick follow-ups. One on the voting question. The Voting Rights Act update, or the John Lewis Voting Rights Bill. You guys have majorities in the House and the Senate. We talked about it on the campaign trail, but given Shelby Holder and the change of pre-clearance, is that a priority? And if it's a priority, when, I understand you've only been here 2 weeks, but with the majorities, when do you push forward on that priority?
It remains a priority, of course. The president's number one focus, though, remains getting the American Rescue Plan through. He's also going to talk more about a Build Back Better plan as we get into the early spring or late winter, I guess. And that will be another priority as an immigration package that he has proposed to the Hill as well. So ensuring that it is easier to vote, that more people have access to voting, that we are making it a part of the right of being an American is a priority to the president. But I don't have a timeline or a date for you on when we would push for that bill to move forward.
One other quick one on Burma. Leader McConnell, after he spoke with the president yesterday, said he expects the administration to quickly sanction the military leaders. I know we talked about changes in foreign aid. What is the timeline on sanctions? Is Leader McConnell right that sanctions will be coming quickly?
Well, one, I will note that the State Department very rapidly completed their review designating or naming the military coup in Burma in a very short period of time, which I think is something, this is bipartisanship in action, that Senator McConnell agreed on. And obviously, the continued detention of Aung San Suu Kyi, other civilian officials, and the declaration of national state of emergency are a direct assault on Burma's transition to democracy and the rule of law. We're continuing to review our sanctions authorities and other options. It is certainly a priority to this administration. I can tell you, Jake Sullivan called me on Sunday night to tell me we had to put a statement out because it was so important we had our voice out there. And we obviously put out a statement from the president, acted quickly. I don't have an exact timeline for you, but it is a priority, and certainly reviewing our sanctions authorities and seeing where there's action to take there is something the team is focused on.
Go ahead, Jennifer. Have you guys been talking at all about the Iowa caucuses or the lineup for the next presidential?
Too soon, Jennifer. Too soon.
No discussion about Nevada wanting to go first?
We are certainly not focused on the next political campaign here quite yet, and we don't have any point of view to share on the order of the presidential nominating contests. Though Nevada's a little warmer, but all great states. Go ahead.
Then you said that you will be checking with the NSC and the president about the Summer Olympics, I believe. Can you tell us, does he think at this point that it is safe for the U.S. team to go to Tokyo?
Well, I know there's been some reporting on this. We're not currently talking about changing our posture or our plans as it relates to the Beijing Olympics. We consult, of course, closely with allies and partners at all levels to define our common concerns and establish a shared approach, but there's no discussion underway of a change in our plans from the United States at this point in time.
Go ahead, Todd.
Thanks. One of the law enforcement gaps that was identified after the riot January 6th was that President Trump had insisted on this focus on Antifa, and I'm wondering what President Biden has done to redirect an emphasis on right-wing extremism.
Well, we've launched an entire review on domestic violent extremism that would cover that across the board, activity across the board, concerning activity across the board. It's not a political review, it's a review of domestic violent extremism. And our plan is to look at that, have our team look at that, again, not through a political lens, but through the lens of national security experts and teams who have expertise in this area. And when that review is concluded, we will have more to say on it.
Can I just follow up very quickly on the Olympics? You said Beijing. I'm asking about Tokyo.
Oh, sorry. There's a lot of Olympics questions going on.
Does the president think that it is safe for U.S. athletes this year?
Again, nothing has changed about our plans. And I would send you to the USOC to discuss anything further on plans for athletes.
Kristen, go ahead. Thank you for that clarification too. Lots of Olympics. Can I follow up with a previous question and just circle back to President Biden's comments yesterday in the Oval Office when he said the vast majority of U.S. law enforcement officers were decent, honorable people? Why did he think it was important to stress that the vast majority?
Because I think he believes that the men and women who have been serving our country in a variety of capacities have been criticized, some have been threatened. The roles they're playing have been questioned over the last several years, and he wanted to reiterate his support for the important work they do. It's also why he's visiting the State Department tomorrow.
Not to say that all of them are. I mean, he made that delineation.
Well, I think the point he's making is that despite reports of individuals in different areas who may have done things that are problematic, that the vast majority of men and women serving are in our law enforcement roles, serving in civil service roles, serving in roles across government, do vital and essential work for the American people.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Sebastian Smith.
I know, I remember your mask. It stands out. It has flamingos on it, in case anyone's wondering.
The flamingo guy.
I know. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. I'm gonna owe you a drink later.
Sebastian Smith, flamingo guy.
Okay.
Again on sanctions, this time on Russia, is there any discussion of targeting people close to Putin over what's happening with Navalny and the opposition there? And has the president talked to EU allies about this?
The president has certainly spoken with a number of European allies about a range of issues of mutual interest, of course, including Russia. In terms of what sanctions options may exist or what options in terms of a response may exist, the president, of course, reserves the right to respond in the manner and course of his choosing at any point in time. But we're going to let this review complete, and then our policy teams will make decisions about any specific steps they'll take in response.
But a little one related, but not exactly the same. Does the president have any position on the activity, the presence of outlets like Russia Today and Sputnik, which I believe maybe even from his sometimes, I don't know. But does he have a position on that? Because in some countries they're seen as out-and-out propaganda tools of the Kremlin. Given things are fairly frosty with Putin right now, what's the position on that?
I have not spoken with the president about RT or Sputnik. I think it's pretty factual to say they are tools of propaganda who work on behalf of the Russian government. I don't know that anyone would question that or raise your hand. Happy to discuss. But I have not discussed that with him specifically. I do know that when I was at the State Department, they attended the briefing. I had a little fun with them from time to time, but they attended the briefing. They asked questions, but I think there's no question as we're trying to decipher information that's accurate and inaccurate, it's important for the American people to know that there are outlets working on behalf of foreign governments who have an agenda, and they're not playing the role of free press and free media as you all are.
They're working in the White House or something?
I haven't seen them around here. I'm not sure if they're in the White House Correspondents Association. You'd have to ask them that question, but all I'm conveying is it's important for people to understand and know that there's an agenda and that they are not the same as AP, ABC, other outlets, BBC around the world.
Go ahead, Ted.
Can you clarify what President Biden's goal is for the number of vaccines? I thought he had raised it to 150, but Zeitz on today's call said that it was 100 million.
The president is always going to push his team to go as big on vaccine distribution as possible, but our goal remains 100 million shots in the arms of Americans in 100 days. And that was a goal that was set in the fall before a single vaccine had been put in the arm of an American, and it was seen as bold and ambitious at the time. But we're not going to stop at 100 million. We're not declaring victory. We wanted to set markers for ourselves. So that's the marker we set, and we're working to achieve it.
iPhone.
Go ahead.
Senator Spence and Carper earlier today said that cabinet confirmations came up during their meeting. I was wondering if the president's been frustrated by the pace on the Senate side and whether he had phrased out what his messages to senators.
Well, presidents always want it to move faster. That's what I can confirm, having been here twice. But, you know, there certainly was a delay in the confirmation of a number of our cabinet nominees. Over the course of weeks, some of them were slower paced than they should have been early on. And there are people we would like to see in place. Obviously, Alan Mayorkas was fortunately confirmed yesterday to Secretary of Homeland Security. We would, of course, love for the Senate to move forward with the confirmation of Attorney General Merrick Garland, a future Attorney General, I guess I should say, Merrick Garland, in order to deliver on the President's promise of an independent Justice Department that's not influenced by politics. That would certainly be a break in the past. So there are still key positions that have not moved through the confirmation process that we are eager to see move forward. We have seen, though, some progress in the last week or so, and a number who have moved forward. Former Mayor Pete Buttigieg, of course, yesterday just confirmed as the first LGBTQ secretary in a cabinet. He's going to play a pivotal role on our economic planning, but there's more to be done. It's something that the president and his team will continue to push on to get his team in place.
Go ahead. Do you know on the cloud contract for the Pentagon awarded to Microsoft, do you know if the Biden White House is going to review that at all? Because, I mean, you know that during the Trump administration it was awarded to Microsoft instead of Amazon. President Trump had some feelings about Amazon. And
I heard that, saw that. I would certainly send you to the Pentagon on that, Jennifer, and if there's more to report from here, I will let you know, but I would certainly send you to the Pentagon. Go ahead all the way in the back.
Yeah, would President Biden be open to having mandatory year-round schooling to get kids caught up, so many kids who are falling behind? Would be open to something like that, or having full-time summer school, whatever it takes?
I have not discussed full-time or year-round schooling with the president. Of course, as you know, that requires often state funding, and that often is up to governors to know if they can provide that funding. But I don't think I have anything further for you on that. All right. Did anyone not get a question? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, that's
Everybody got a question. Everybody get a question. What you got? What you got? What you got?
All right, guys. So that was a press briefing from the White House from yesterday. So hopefully you got some information from it. Hopefully, you know, it is what it is. Take everything with a grain of salt. Believe it when it's done. Tell him it ain't nothing, you know.
What's better, travel in your own town and go to a hotel, or travel out of town?
I don't really see why you're in your own town going to a hotel. So.
Talking about the time of COVID.
Oh. Nowhere.
Stay your ass home.
Hey, ain't nowhere good, man.
Come on, nah.
Let's see what's going on with, let's see, we got Doge going on. See what's happening with Doge. What's happening going on with Doge? Live. Dogecoin is going to hit $1 price prediction and analysts 2 hours ago.
What is Dogecoin? Dogecoin is a cryptocurrency invented by software engineers Billy Marcus and Jackson Palmer, who decided to create a payment system that is instant, fun, and free from traditional banking fees. To do this, the coin featured a friendly face of a Shiba Inu dog from the popular Doge. Who calls it Doge? Do you call it Doggy? Doge? Dogecoin, I don't know. Meme and its logo. What do you call it? Let me know down below. I've always called it Doge because I think it sounds cool. Anyway, 127 billion Dogecoins, and there are more being mined, or the way they call it, are being digged.
Okay, go ahead, read it.
So this is fresh from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, January 30th. Thinking about investing in the latest hot stock. Understand the significant risk of short-term trading based on social media. The SEC's Office of Investor Education and Advocacy warns investors of the significant risk of short-term investing based on social media, especially in volatile markets, and provides tips for long-term investing. Retail investors may seek to profit from volatile markets by buying individual stock, including stock in heavily promoted companies with smaller market capitalizations. Some of these stocks may be discussed in social media, news aggregators, investments research websites, online investment newsletters, ratings websites, message boards, chat rooms, and discussion forums. It can be tempting to jump on the bandwagon and follow whatever the crowd seems to be doing. Sometimes, however, following the crowd may lead to significant investment loss. What difference is that to people writing articles, basically having whole MSNBC money, whole channels, the stocks they watching, people making reports?
No, yeah,
What
right.
difference to that? Is forums and people talking about it amongst themselves.
What about the back rooms that all these big time corporations go in and have talks about investing to all these companies? Now you want to come on.
Retail investors should understand
They're just
that.
mad that the lower man is smarter than they is.
And finding out how to work the system too. Retail investors should understand that all investments have risk, and that short-term investing in a volatile market carries significant risk of loss. That's a loss that we're willing to take, and you can't stop people from willing to take that loss. They can't stop
That's what they're trying to do.
They cannot stop it. They're trying to deter you in all ways. Short-term trading, including trading aided by the use of margin or options, can lead to significant and anticipated losses for retail investors. A Library of Congress report identifies several investing behaviors that can undermine investment performance, including behaviors that involve short-term investing. Investors should keep in mind these behaviors when considering investing in a volatile market, including investing in bubbles or manias, financial manias or a bubble, is the rapid rise in the price of an investment reflecting a high degree of collective enthusiasm or exuberance regarding the investment's prospects. This rapid rise is usually followed by a contraction in the investment's price. The contraction or panic occurs when there is wide-scale selling of the investment that causes a sharp decline in the investment's price. Momentum investing. Oh, now they want to go ahead and give lessons. Another investing strategy that can pose high risk for retail investors and momentum investing. An investor using a momentum investing strategy seeks to capitalize on the continuance of existing trends in the market. A momentum investor believes that large increases in the price of an investment will be followed by additional gains and vice versa for declining values. If that belief turns out to be incorrect, it can lead to significant losses that we're all aware of. We know that.
We know that.
Noise trading. A third related strategy is noise trading. Noise trading occurs when an investor makes a decision to buy or sell an investment without the use of fundamental data. That is, economic, financial, and other qualitative or quantitative data that can affect the value of the investment. Noise traders generally have poor timing, follow trends, and overreact to good and bad news in the market. Make a decision to buy and sell without the use of fundamental data. I just wanted to sell.
I made $10. I want my money.
That's fundamental data to me. I made money.
Oh, God.
Be careful investing with margin options or short sales.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Pause. Hold on. Stop it. let's get finished listening to this right quick.
Dug, digged out,
Here's the
dug out,
password.
because it's a dog. Of course, a dog digs, it doesn't mine. So initial release is 2013.
You didn't even open
It's
it
a
up or
very
even
old
use it.
cryptocurrency. It's been around a long time. Except these three. It looks like Ripple's on its way out, or XRP, but Dogecoin continues to live on. I think it's because it's not taken seriously, and that leads me over to what is it and what do they do. Dogecoin is literally just a meme, and you can see I'm just using Wikipedia and Google to check these things out. I've looked at Dogecoin so many times, and I'll have a look at that in the charts to let you know how and why. All it is just a meme that was created by Marcus and Palmer. That's it, as simple as that. Jack and Palmer announced taking and if it can do that in a very cheap and fast way, then I guess it's serving its purpose.
Has been getting a lot of people signing this petition to essentially, what is it? It's Dogecoin Amazon, and it's Amazon Dogecoin is accepting it as a payment method here on Amazon. And what it is there? So the current Amazon does not accept cryptocurrencies as a payment method, alienating many people who do not have the traditional bank account. Amazon.com, being the leader in the innovation, should accept Dogecoin as a form of payment. Dogecoin is fast, cheap.
My bad. One second. I'm going back and forth with information, but this is the information from the rest of the information from Robinhood SEC statement letter. All right, go ahead, Keith.
So be careful investing with margin options or short sales. All investing has risk. If you invest using margins, options, or short sales, these risks may be magnified. Margin trading, using borrowed money to buy securities, can be very risky and is not appropriate for every investor. Before you invest using margin, consider that you can lose money. You can lose more money than you have invested. You may have to deposit additional cash or securities in your account on short notice to cover market losses. Your brokerage firm can increase its margin requirements at any time and is not required to provide you with advance notice. For more information on margin trading and its risks, read our investor bulletins. Understanding margin accounts and margin rules for day trading. Options. Contracts to buy or sell a stock for a specified price on or before a certain date. Like other securities, carry no guarantees. Investors should be aware that it is possible to lose all of your initial investment and sometimes more. Option holders, buyers of option contracts, risk the entire amount of the premium paid to purchase the option. If a holder's option expires out of the money, the entire premium will be lost. Option writers, sellers of option contracts, may carry an even higher risk since certain types of option contracts can expose writers to unlimited potential losses. For additional information on options trading and its risks, read our investor bulletin and introduction to options. Short sales involve the sale of a stock you do not own or borrow for delivery. Short sellers believe the price of a stock will fall. If the price falls, short sellers buy the stock back at the lower price and make a profit. However, if the price of the stock rises, short sellers will incur a loss when they have to buy the stock back at a higher price. Short sellers can expose an investor to the possibility of unlimited losses since the stock can theoretically keep rising indefinitely. For additional information on short sales, read our investor bulletin and introduction to short sales. Trying to do a lot to scare y'all up out of here. Let's see. I feel like they're still gonna drop something on this. Market and broker dealing protections for Market and broker-dealer protections for volatile stocks. The National Securities Exchanges and FINRA have rules designed to address market volatility in stocks listed on a national securities exchange. The limit up, limit down rules are designed to prevent trades in these stocks from occurring outside a specified price band. This price band is set at a percentage level above and below the average price of the stock over the immediately preceding 5-minute trading period. If a stock's price moves outside these price bands for more than 15 seconds, trading in the stock will be used for 5 minutes. For additional information on the limit up, limit down rules, read our investor bulletin. Measures to address market volatility. Also, broker-dealers may reserve the ability to reject or limit customer transactions. This may be done for legal, compliance, or risk management reasons and is typically discussed in the customer account agreement. In certain circumstances, broker-dealers may determine not to accept orders where a transaction presents certain associated compliance or legal risks.
Wow.
Sound like the SEC backing up Robinhood being able to cut people off. Be aware of the potential for market manipulation on online platforms. Fraudsters can use online platforms, including social news aggregators, investment research websites, online investment newsletters, rating websites, message boards, chat rooms, and discussion forums to spread false or misleading information. Fraudsters may try to manipulate a company's stock price, either positively or negatively, and to profit at investors' expense. For example, in a pump and dump scheme, fraudsters pump up a company's stock price by making false and misleading statements to create a buying frenzy, and then sell shares at the pumped up price. In other instances, fraudsters start negative rumors, urging investors to sell their stock so that the stock price plummets, and then the fraudsters take advantage of buying shares at the artificially low price. Thanks for telling us how y'all do this. Like, you laying it out right here. Even better. How we gonna keep doing this? You showing them what they doing is real. Like, they need to keep, exactly. Just be careful, this big letter says. This letter is all these words to say, be careful, you could lose money.
Be careful, because we've been scamming y'all for a long time. We don't want y'all to scam us back.
Exactly. Now we see you see us. We see you seeing us see you.
Alright guys, let's get finished. That's it?
We urge investors to consider these long-term investing tips. So they're trying to promote long-term investing. Why, guys? Know your time horizon for investing. Often, information you read online about specific stocks can be short-term in nature. It focuses on events that may have an immediate impact on investments. Focus on long-term goals and consider the benefits of diversification in asset allocation. Create and follow a financial plan. Real-time discussion platforms and buy-sell indicators driven by social sentiment may lead you to make emotionally driven or impulsive investment decisions, which can be a risky way to approach investing. Do not let the short-term emotions about investments disrupt your long-term financial objectives. If you are considering short-term investments, think about how much of your overall portfolio you should allocate to these type of investments. Be careful when investing based on information received on social media. While online platforms may provide useful investment information, use extreme caution when making investment decisions based solely on information found on social media platforms. Never feel pressure to invest right away. Before investing your money, research the company thoroughly. Make sure you understand its business and carefully review publicly disclosed company information. Take your time researching and making any investment decision. Protect your money. Learn more tips on investing wisely and avoiding fraud. Oh, they want you to put your money in, that's it. They want you to put your money in and leave it in long term.
So they can flip-flop.
So they can play with your money.
Alright guys, well, that's from the SEC via Robinhood. I hope you guys got some information. Alright, we'll be back at. We listen to some Doge stuff.
Supply of coin and has a very
That's not, I don't got enough seconds for me. Let's find something else.
That's true. So there is a lot of benefits to
This is a bit,
Dogecoin.
bit
We'll
boy.
go into what those
Put
are.
on anything new.
But we'll also go through some.
Man, ETH probably.
Down.
Our members who were in the meeting felt that the president seemed to be more interested in that than his staff did, or that it
Democrats move forward on relief bill without GOP support. Let's see this. This was from Tuesday. This was from yesterday. So, welcome to yesterday.
Here we have a Capitol Hill watch with Jackie Heinrich. Jackie, so much going on there today. The Senate moving forward on COVID relief, but without Republican support?
That's right, Dana. President Biden reportedly told Democrats to move forward with his $1.9 trillion proposal not long after sitting down with Senate Republicans to try to hash out a bipartisan deal. Their $618 billion proposal was swiftly rejected. Democrats yesterday cleared a procedural hurdle in the Senate to move forward with budget reconciliation. Now, that's a tool that would allow them to pass their bigger bill with just a simple majority. The message to Republicans: you can join us, but don't try to go against us, because we've got the majority and we are not backing down.
our members who were in the meeting felt that the president seemed to be more interested in that than his staff did, or that it seems like the Democratic leadership in the House and the Senate are. So here's where I think we're headed. It looks like the majority is going to have us vote on the motion to proceed to the budget this afternoon. They've chosen a totally partisan path.
So moderate Democrat Senator Joe Manchin promised that he will still try to make this bill as bipartisan as possible during the budget reconciliation process and work on some of those points that Republicans find really unpalatable. Dana.
Anna.
Tonight, a surprise shakeup for Amazon and its billionaire founder, Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, stepping down as Amazon's CEO after building the company that has changed the American way of life. What's behind his decision and the new role he's taking on? Also, the two FBI special agents killed while serving a warrant at a home in Florida. One of the fallen draped in a flag. What we're learning about the suspect. The deadly storm pounding the Northeast for a second day, nearly 3 feet of snow in some areas, homes collapsing, and the new threat developing. The White House announcing plans to speed up COVID vaccinations, the key role pharmacies will play, and inside the labs on the hunt for variants. The House impeachment managers laying out their case against former President Trump a week before his trial. Democrats saying he summoned a mob and aimed them like a loaded cannon at the Capitol. How Trump's legal team is responding. A 9-year-old pepper sprayed by police, her mother speaking out to us about the action she's now taking. Paying tribute to the 100-year-old World War II veteran who inspired the world.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening, everyone. It's not often we would start the broadcast with news of a change in one of this country's corporate suites, but arguably no company has changed the way we live quite like Amazon. And late today, its CEO Jeff Bezos delivered the surprising news he's stepping down from the helm of the shopping empire he formed in 1994. That late development, just one of the major stories we're covering tonight, that includes a deadly day for the FBI. 2 agents killed while trying to serve a criminal warrant in Florida. Then there's the urgent effort to identify COVID variants in this country that could dramatically impact the fight against the pandemic. But on this busy news night, let's start with the breaking news about Amazon. Jolene Kent reports.
After more than 25 years and billions in sales, Jeff Bezos is leaving his post as CEO this summer, handing the reins of the massive disruptor he built to Andy Jassy, the current head of Amazon Web Services. In an internal email, Bezos, who will become executive chair, said, "I intend to focus my energies and attention on new products and early initiatives. I'm excited about this transition." Early in his career, Bezos left his job in finance, founding Amazon in 1994. He spoke with NBC News about that career move in 1999.
But I might really have regretted not having participated in this thing called the internet that I thought was going to be a really big deal.
And it was. What began as an online bookseller grew fast.
Work hard, have fun, make history is our motto.
Ultimately becoming a mega online retailer with more than 1 million workers.
He's almost singularly responsible for every major thing that they've done over the past 25 years.
The company is often criticized for undercutting small businesses by aggressively lowering prices. Bezos is now one of the richest people in the world. His recent divorce from Mackenzie Scott was one of the most expensive ever, after his affair with Lauren Sanchez was splashed across the tabloids. Bezos says he isn't retiring, but after decades of overseeing every major project, he'll be taking a major step back. Bezos will also stay involved with the Washington Post, which he owns, and Blue Origin, his private space company. Amazon, meanwhile, facing antitrust investigations that will likely fall to the new CEO. Lester?
All right, Jolene Kent tonight, thanks. This was a tragic day for the FBI. 2 of its agents shot and killed and 3 others injured while serving a warrant in Florida. Our Sam Brock is there.
Before sunrise, in Sunrise, Florida, a dark day for the FBI.
Got agents shot?
The Bureau confirming 2 special agents were shot and killed, 36-year-old Daniel Alphin and 43-year-old Laura Schwarzenberger.
Dan and Laura left home this morning to carry out the mission they signed up for and loved to do, to keep the American people safe.
3 other agents were injured, 2 seriously, executing a search warrant tied to a man suspected of violent crimes against children, including pornography.
The FBI is a family, and our chosen profession is fraught with danger. Today, this grim reality has taken 2 of our best from our family.
Their heroism highlighted with police salutes as a casket draped in the American flag left Broward General Hospital, and then a similar sobering scene playing out again at the coroner's office. The suspect declared dead after hours barricaded inside his home. Tonight, the flags at Miami's FBI field office sitting at half staff. This was the deadliest day for the FBI since 9/11, and also the first time in more than 30 years that 2 agents died in the line of duty, the last time in South Florida in 1986. Lester?
Right, Sam Brock tonight in Florida, thank you. The Northeast. East is reeling from the biggest winter storm in years. Some areas digging out from nearly 3 feet of snow. Stephanie Goss has more.
The nor'easter swirled in and slowed down, dumping a mountain of snow, sending this region into a tailspin. Roughly 1.5 feet in New York City's Central Park, but the places hardest hit got nearly double that.
You'd have to go back maybe to 2010, but probably to 1996 to get a storm with the same level of ferocity.
Storm conditions continued on Tuesday, frustrating the massive cleanup.
It's hard. At 72, gets harder every year.
In New York City, 1,500 vaccination appointments were postponed, backing up an effort that already had challenges, while the mayor asked people to stay home so the streets could be cleared.
You don't need to be driving on the roads, please don't.
As the storm whipped up the coast, beach erosion on Cape Cod toppled cottages. Most in-person learning was canceled across the Northeast, but because of the pandemic, schools quickly pivoted to remote. For those who could enjoy a reprieve from the grim winter, it was playtime.
This is nice seeing them doing what they know best, just playing and having fun.
This morning in Punxsutawney, the groundhog saw his shadow.
6 more weeks.
Winter isn't going anywhere. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New York.
And while the storm slowed down vaccinations, the White House announced that thousands of pharmacies will get COVID vaccines by next week as the country races to stay ahead of those new variants. Gabe Gutierrez begins our coverage.
You ready?
With every hour critical, today some vaccine sites like this one in Connecticut reopened despite the weather. How frustrating has it been to get an appointment?
Very frustrating. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's an 8.
Across the country, from Georgia to California, frustration over the rollout is reaching the White House, which today announced details of its pharmacy vaccination program. By next week, February 11th, the government says it will deliver 1 million doses to 6,500 retail pharmacies nationwide, eventually expanding to 40,000.
We have all of the infrastructure, all of the connection and community to be able to help those people who have been hard hit by the pandemic.
Andy Slavitt is a senior COVID-19 advisor to the White House, who says he's concerned providers are holding back second doses.
I think that's a function of what happens in a shortage. People hoard. If they are holding back second doses that were intended as first doses, they don't need to do that.
What would you tell Americans that are having such a tough time making those appointments?
I would tell Americans that it's going to be a couple of months. This is not an administration that's going to overpromise.
One new study even suggests a possibility that those who've had COVID-19 already may only need 1 dose of the vaccine after researchers found survivors had robust antibody responses, even after a single dose.
Yesterday was bad.
For Bonnie Bodak, her second dose today is a reminder of what's at stake.
Hugging my grandchildren. It's the little things in life. The little things.
She'd waited long enough. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, East Hartford, Connecticut.
I'm Miguel Almaguer. Tonight inside these labs, the CDC is hoping to end Almaguer. Tonight inside
the little things.
Look at her. Waited long enough. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News.
Where's the needle? Do you see that?
You getting shot?
Yeah, but where's the needle? There's no needle. Where did the needle go? Look.
Responses, even after a single dose.
Yesterday was bad.
For Bonnie Bodak, her second dose today is a reminder of what's at stake.
Hugging my grandchildren. It's the little things in life. The little things.
She'd waited long enough. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News.
There's no needle.
That was some fake shit.
What is going on? Am I geeking? Are you guys seeing this though? There's no needle right there. There's nothing right there.
The little things.
She'd waited long enough.
Even when she poured it out.
When she put it in, it was a needle.
Responses, even after responses, even after a single dose.
Yesterday was bad.
For Bonnie Bodak, her second dose today is a reminder of what's at stake.
Hugging my grandchildren. It's the little things in life. The little things.
She'd waited long enough.
See, when she poured it out, it was a needle.
East Hartford, Connecticut.
It was a needle, right?
I'm Miguel Almaguer. Tonight inside these labs, the CDC is hoping to analyze 6,000 COVID samples a week, a race to track down dangerous and potentially deadlier variants of the virus. With the UK strain already detected in a majority of states, researchers fear if the South African and Brazilian variants are more resilient to vaccines, the death toll could climb to 600,000 in 3 months.
We just don't really have a system to detect them before they become a problem.
After just emerging from the deadliest month of the pandemic, authorities say the variants could fuel a new surge in cases as early as March. While fewer Americans are testing positive for the virus, testing sites are becoming harder to find. And if there's less testing, new variants may be more prevalent. Even for those who have recovered from COVID, antibodies may not protect them from new strains of the virus. Kelsey Townsend, who was pregnant and on life support for almost 75 days, was just reunited with her baby after more than 2 months.
I love you so much.
Tonight, Townsend, too, faces the emerging threat, but she is also a symbol of hope. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
We're getting a preview of sorts tonight of next week's impeachment trial of former President Trump. Democrats set to argue he incited a mob to violence. Mr. Trump's lawyers calling the whole proceeding unconstitutional. Here's Kristen Welker.
Tonight, House Democrats unveiling their impeachment case, pinning the blame for the deadly Capitol riot squarely on former President Trump, saying Mr. Trump, quote, summoned a mob to Washington, exhorted them into a frenzy, and aimed them like a loaded cannon down Pennsylvania Avenue, that he refused to accept the will of the American people, even quoting Liz Cheney, one of the few House Republicans who voted to impeach, who said President Trump lit the flame of this attack. In their brief, Democrats pointing to this fiery speech at the rally before the riot.
We love you! And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
But in their defense today, Mr. Trump's legal team saying the former president was only exercising his First Amendment right to express his belief that the election results were suspect. And they say he did not incite violence.
This is a very, very dangerous road to take with respect to the First Amendment, putting at risk any passionate political speaker, which is really against everything we believe in this country.
Mr. Trump's team also argues it is unconstitutional to hold a trial to try to remove the former president because he holds no public office from which he can be removed. But tonight, Democrats are blasting that argument, saying there is no January exception to impeachment.
The trial must go on, and he must be held accountable.
Well, Kristen, Democrats still have a steep climb for a conviction, don't they?
That's right. Only 5 Republican senators say this trial is even constitutional, and Democrats would need 17 GOP votes for a conviction. Lester.
Kristen Welker at the White House, thanks, and a candid and emotional account of what it was like inside the Capitol during the attack from Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who also made a deeply personal revelation. Casey Hunt has more.
Tonight, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sharing a harrowing and emotional account of what happened to her during the Capitol riot.
All of a sudden, I hear boom, 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 boom on my door.
Afraid rioters were coming after her, she hid in a bathroom inside her private office.
And I'm like this, and the door hinges right here, and I just hear, where is she? Where is she? I mean, I thought I was going to die.
When she came out of the bathroom, she found a Capitol police officer. She and a staffer eventually barricading themselves inside a fellow congresswoman's office as rioters raged. In the 90-minute live broadcast to her Instagram followers, also making this revelation.
I'm a survivor of sexual assault. And I haven't told many people that in my life. But when we go through trauma compounds on each other.
And members of Congress and the country will be living through the trauma again next week as former President Trump's impeachment trial unfolds, with Democratic managers expected to use powerful video from the day as evidence. Lester.
All right, Casey, thank you. There's sad news tonight. The World War II veteran we've been following who inspired the world during this pandemic, Captain Tom Moore, who raised $45 million for UK frontline workers by walking laps in his garden, has died after his own battle with COVID. Moore was 100 years old, one of those people you will never forget. In just 60 seconds, the mother of a 9-year-old girl pepper sprayed by police speaks out to us as hundreds take to the streets. Growing outrage tonight over the pepper spraying of a 9-year-old girl by police in Rochester, New York. Her mother speaking out to NBC's Ron Allen.
Get in the car! An emotional confrontation. Rochester police responding to a report of family trouble.
Got multicolored pants and a black hoodie. And mom saying she's making suicidal statements.
Officers trying to convince a 9-year-old girl to get into a police car. An officer eventually gives the girl, already handcuffed, a warning before using pepper spray.
Come on. Yes. Do your last chance, otherwise pepper spray's going in your eyeballs. Come on.
I got her. Tonight, the girl's mother saying she will sue the city of Rochester and its police department.
I trusted the Rochester Police Department to do what they needed to do to help my daughter, not to abuse her or hurt her at all.
Here, just stop for a second.
I want my dad!
The police union says the girl resisted and kicked one of the officers, and that they did not harm her when she would not comply. Authorities have said the girl had threatened to take her own life and harm her mother.
No one who would treat a 9-year-old child like that should be in law enforcement to help anyone.
City officials already have said the officers' actions were not appropriate. At least 3 have been disciplined. Now a lawsuit by a family claiming police used excessive force against their little girl.
You can't call the police on the kid. You can't call police on the kid. They fucking
Up
kids up
next here
too.
tonight, the food assistance program that tens of millions depend on, but is it helping enough Americans? We're back now with the millions of Americans going hungry during the pandemic. President Biden has vowed more help is on the way, but is the federal government doing enough? We get more from Cynthia McFadden.
Kinda McKinney Anderson isn't about to let a little bad weather stop her from helping her neighbors.
Hi, Jerry. How you doing? Kids need to eat. Families need to eat.
The founder of Inner City Youth Group, a small nonprofit serving Detroit's East Side, has been mobilized since the start of the pandemic.
Come on up.
We've been following her since March, before mask wearing was encouraged, as she and her volunteers began handing out lunches to children who were home from school. By her count, over 150,000 meals in the last 10 months.
I keep doing it because this is something that our families need, and it won't go away.
Families like Barry Chambly and Melissa Michaud, with 5 kids, all under the age of 10.
We were just regular, working people, just trying to take care of our kids.
The pandemic threw them both out of work, but their families and neighbors and Miss Kinda stepped in.
We've had a lot of help, and we are extremely grateful for that, because for a few weeks in between March and May, it got rough.
Have you been scared?
Oh, yeah.
Very, very much so.
But so far, they've received no help from government food programs. Even though their children were receiving free school lunches, they say they haven't been able to figure out how to apply for a federal program designed to give them money to replace those meals.
The kids kind of eat like birds sometimes, but they also kind of eat like dinosaurs another time.
They did apply for SNAP assistance, a debit card that replaces the old food stamp program, used by 43 million people, a stunning 1 in 8 in America, up 6 million people since the pandemic. For a family of 7 to qualify, their income needs to be under $52,000.
What's your best estimate of your yearly income now?
It's like 20,000 or under.
For the two of you, that's combined.
That's combined.
You've applied for the SNAP program.
We've been denied several times. It said that I need to turn in verifications of end of employment for jobs that Barry hasn't had in years.
Company doesn't even exist anymore.
Has it been hard to get people on the phone?
Yes. Yes.
This is what my new job is keeping me up at night, is who are we missing?
Stacey Dean was appointed by President Biden to head up the Food and Nutrition Service at the Department of Agriculture. She says their goal is to help people like Melissa and Barry.
The process of applying for SNAP benefits is tough. It's incredibly rigorous. And trying to carry that out in a remote environment has made it, I think, a little bit more difficult.
She says the administration hopes to improve that and also wants a review of the benefits themselves. Right now, the average meal benefit is $1.40, bumped to $2 because of the pandemic.
Pretty hard to feed yourself on $2 a meal. $6 a day?
Yes, we understand that that's a struggle, and that's why we really want to take a look at whether those benefits are adequate for a basic healthy diet.
In December, Congress passed a $13 billion aid package targeted at food. How much more do you need?
We need as much as we need. I don't think we can put a number on that right now. It is a crisis.
No need to explain that. Back in Detroit. Cynthia McFadden, NBC News.
That's Nightly News for this Tuesday. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm Lester Holt. Please take care of yourself and each other. Good night.
Oh, Lester. What on cheesecake?
We're wondering what would we do if we just happened to hit the jackpot. I told my friend that I've been playing the lottery every week, and every week I spend at least $10. But I don't know how many years since I started playing, I never win anything. One of my friends told me, hey, you should stop playing the lottery and put your $10 per week into Dogecoin. Dogecoin will make you a millionaire. So what is Dogecoin? And why are so many people talking about it? That's not Dogecoin. That's my boy Brownie. This is the Dogecoin we're talking about. Dogecoin is a peer-to-peer open source cryptocurrency. It is considered as an altcoin. By the way, altcoin is any cryptocurrency that is other than Bitcoin. It was launched in December 2013, and Dogecoin has the image of a Shiba Inu dog as its logo.
Didn't nobody want to hear your commercial, man.
Has a market cap of 1.18 billion, and it is trading at around 0.0092. Let's take a quick look at the 1-year chart for Dogecoin. Dogecoin started last year, traded at around 0.0023, and as of today, it is trading at 0.009. So it's went up by almost 450% in 1 year. Wow. So why is Dogecoin rising so fast? I think there are a couple reasons. Number one, all altcoin, including Dogecoin, rise and fall in value with Bitcoin. And obviously, Bitcoin has been on a tear over the last 12 months. The second reason that Dogecoin is getting so popular right now because of Elon Musk. It seems like Dogecoin is one of Elon's favorite currency, as he tweets about it a lot. He even called himself the former CEO of Dogecoin. And he also said that any settlements he makes on Mars will be powered by cryptocurrency like Dogecoin. And every time when Elon tweets about Dogecoin, it somehow gets people all hyped up, and they just go out and buy Dogecoin and cause a big spike in the price. It is understandable because Elon is one of the greatest entrepreneur of our generation. He is the man, and if the man likes Dogecoin,